second time. This is not the easiest thing to play on the planet. Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video. Lots of things have happened in the last 10 years or so since I made a video. Been ultra busy. This happens to me, as you may well know if you watch my channel. And I literally could not make a video for like a month and a half, which means I didn't. Here I am, I'm back. I've got some changes. I've got some maybe more surprising changes, and maybe some not so surprising changes. Yes, I did buy another Bach 50B2. I think that's my fifth one. I can't help myself. They're useless. I don't even need it. But I still have one on the way. Anyway, on to more interesting things, since we've seen 4 of those already on my channel. I've got this very cool thing that came to mail today. This is a German-style trombone, but not a German trombone. You can tell because it's got snakes. And yes, these are actual snakes. They have like scales engraved into them. They have little heads. They're so cool. It's on the slide crook as well. I love these things. Completely useless. Like, why would you put snakes on here? It takes so much effort to like make all these nickel rods and like bend them and engrave little things. Why put them on there? But they did it. And this wasn't even made in Germany. This was made in the Soviet Union in 1948 in Kiev, Ukraine, which I think is super cool. I got this off of Facebook from a Ukrainian who was selling it as a kind of like decoration trombone, not super playable. And I was like, I have a feeling, it'll still work like a trombone. And luckily, super nice guy, he had a contact somewhere who chrome plated the inner slide for me. These had just brass inner tubes. Very cool, but like just awful slide action because you just have brass against nickel, just so much friction coefficient. This, still not amazing, but way better with chrome plating. And he did that for free. This did not cost a lot of money. And so, yeah, got a cool Ukrainian trombone in the German style. I want German trombones. They just usually cost way too much money. I'm never going to use them for anything. And this has got all the hallmarks, at least most of them. We've got the very wide slide. We've got the lead pipe that has a question mark receiver in it. This is a large shank mouthpiece, which should go into here. It goes in about halfway and kind of wobbles. Here's a medium shank mouthpiece, or at least a small shank on an adapter. And it just rattles around. What shank is that? There's shanks between large and medium? Like, those are not that far apart. So anyway, I can put in a large shank and it just kind of sticks super far out. Does it matter? Probably not. We have the free-floating outer slide. If you look at the grip right here, you can see it actually moves. They're just not soldered together. So if the inner and outer are slightly different, it doesn't matter. It'll move with it. Does not make for a great slide, but hey, that's just how it goes. There's no spit valve. We just got snakes. The snakes slurp up the spit. That's what they're for. No nut to keep these together, just friction fit. We just got one tapered tube and another tapered tube, and you just kind of jam them on. There's no slide lock either. We got no tuning slide. This has very few moving parts. It has like one moving part. No tuning slide, more snakes. I like snakes. And a bow guard as well. So it's not just the snakes directly attached to the tube, but we have the bow guard to keep this from getting mashed. And then a nice bell. I wonder what material this is, actually. It'd be really interesting. It's made out of like cartridge casings or something. 1948, Ukraine. Not a great place to just like hang out and do fun stuff. And I'm very surprised they were making trombones or anything like this at the time. A little tiny bit of history on the Soviet Union / Russia, right up against Europe, Eastern Europe / Germany. And so the trombone of choice for a long time, up until kind of 50s, 60s, was German-style trombones. It seems kind of odd, like they're like 2 different places on the planet, but they're really kind of not. There's a lot of cultural exchange between those sides of Europe. And so German-style trombones were kind of the thing until they started like importing American instruments and making more American-style instruments a little bit after this was made. So I'm really glad to have this trombone. Soviet Union, Ukraine, helped out Ukrainian. Super cool. Super useful? Perhaps not, but did not cost a lot of money, and I like it. Very dangerous horn to put on a stand because there's no slide lock, and there's nothing keeping the slide on, so fingers crossed, don't fall apart on the stand. Like I said, been super busy, been playing tenor and euphonium a ton. Like my 3BF and my euphonium have gotten so much playtime, and due to that, they feel really good. Like I can pick up either one of them, and this is usually the case, but especially in the last couple months, I just pick them up and I can play them. Response is good. Ranges all work. I like the sound. I like kind of everything about them. And that has changed my view on my bass trombones. A lot of my other horns, I kind of pick them up and I'm like, yeah, this works. It takes me like half an hour to kind of be like, yeah, that's how this works. That's where the intonation is. That's how to get the response, etc. There's two horns that fought me on that in the last couple months, and for that reason, one of them is being sold, the other one is getting changed. The one's getting sold, the Monster Bass. Drum roll. This one, I just haven't been using lately. I just am like not really feeling the need. I have the Koran, which is just like slightly easier. There's something about it that I just kind of jive with more. And I don't need the screw bell. I'm not traveling and playing bass trombone all the time. And on the other flip side of things, commercial stuff, I have other horns that do that better too, and just easier and with a more commercial sound. And so this just isn't getting played. And when I do get it out, I actually took it with me on Thanksgiving on vacation. I was like, you know what? I'm going to fall in love with it again. I'm just going to keep it. And I played it for like 4 days, and I was like, it's not happening. I am not finding the response that I like when I play it full time. And it's not sparking joy, as they say. It still plays great. It works. It has this awesome, huge sound, but when am I going to use that? And so I decided over a lot of thought, and it seriously took me some time to get to this point. I was like, you know what? It's got to go. I'm not selling my special Magic Corporation bell. That's sticking around. That actually might be made into an M&W bell section. I don't know, question mark. But this is going to head on out if somebody buys it. And if they don't, then I guess I'll keep it. But again, it's really just been sitting around, and I don't especially like to have extras of other instruments that I have just sitting around. Obviously, that's what happens a lot of the time, but I like to cull those top 20% of instruments that I just am not playing, and that's one of them. The Koran, I was kind of finding the same thing. I'd play it for a couple days and be like, how do I get the middle range to not double buzz? You know, like none of my other horns are doing that. I have made huge strides in my playing recently, and it's just not transferring to the dual bore bass trombones. I don't know what's up with that. I think mainly it's that kind of horn, the big orchestral bass trombone, dual bore slide, kind of open lead pipe. You kind of just have to play that all the time. It kind of has to be your main instrument, and that's what you play. If you're a doubler like I am currently, where I'm playing a lot of tenor trombone, a lot of euphonium, a lot of like even tuba and other things like that, the dual bore bass is just like that far off the beaten path that I just can't get to it fast enough. If I played it for like a month straight, yeah, it would feel amazing and I would love it and I would just keep it the way it is, but I have to play other stuff. And so I just bought a single bore slide for it, a Shire slide, and I have a feeling, because I borrowed a Q series, I didn't borrow it, I sold it for a friend, and I used that slide for just a second. I was like, whoa, this horn sounds the same, kind of like does all the same things, but it's just way easier to play, which was surprising for me. I thought the dual bore really just kind of made that horn work. Apparently, a single bore does the same thing. So I have one of those on the way. If that makes a difference, I'm probably going to keep that as like the big orchestral canon bass that still doesn't get used that often. And if not, it gets sold too, because I have my Yamaha 630 that does all the commercial stuff. It's, except for the sound, like one of the best trombones that I have. It just plays itself. It's so easy. And I have my B&S, which is a little more more difficult. It's got a bit of a learning curve, but it just sounds so good. And once I get over that learning curve, it's also pretty easy. So bassland is changing. I also just sold the 50K3 LG again. I'm not sure if I even said this, but I sold this and the Yellow Bell versions. And both of them got crunched in the mail. Both of the bells got burped in the mail. I think that was my fault. Due to the size of these bells, they don't fit in the normal boxes that I use. And they got crunched. And so this one got returned. The other one I did a partial refund on. And I had John Sandhagen build the bell back to shape, basically. And, you know, you can tell it was damaged. You can see it was damaged. But if you couldn't see, like, the creases and stuff, it is, like, perfect. And honestly, it plays and sounds the same. I played it a little bit and I was like, I like this thing, but I super don't need it. And so this is going off to Japan. I already sold it. I'm also selling my K-valve and my 36 bell, along with my Shire's TB47 slide. It's a really good playing combo, actually. I put it all together and I was like, oh, I like all these things. But again, just not playing it. I don't especially need an entire another large bore tenor that's kind of worth a little bit of money. Maybe I can find like a 42B bell section. That'll be my backup. I'm not sure. If that doesn't sell, I'm not going to be sad, but I just don't see myself using it. That one's a little bit lower priority. I'm also going to sell very soon Yamaha 613. Yeah, this is another one. I don't even think I showed this in a video. Got this one recently. Had the bell unsmoshed. I was a little disappointed. I got this in the mail. The bell was crunched, and I was like, oh, come on. You know, I got it off of eBay, and I was going to type up a complaint, see if I get a refund. And then I looked at the pictures, and I realized it already was crunched in the pictures. Derp. I probably still would have bought it, because honestly, it's back to the original shape. It just looks like you can see there's little creases and stuff. And it plays and sounds great. It's just like my old one, just looks slightly rattier. I got a G-flat slide for it, so you can actually use it in real life. And the only problem right now is the F-valve linkage is just a little slow. The valve itself, totally fine. Linkage, slow. Got to work that out, and the slide's great now. This is an early model with the narrower slide, and it honks. It's awesome, but the valve is a little slow. So once it gets worked out, that's going to get sold. I even removed the lacquer from the bell, and I'm going to polish it up. It's going to look super cool. The Kiev trombone came in this very cool, completely intact, very slimline case. Just thought I'd show that. And I think that's about it. Yeah, I got a 50B2 on the way. I've got a pretty busy month coming up, but most of it is night performances. I'm not busy every day like I was for the last month and a half. So more time to make videos. Might talk about some of the things I did to my face to improve things and my general outlook on playing, but who knows. That's all I got time for now. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.